I'm Tom Beckstrand, and once upon a time, I was a sniper team leader in 3rd Special Forces Group. Since then, I've spent a couple years shooting on the Precision Rifle Series circuit, or PRS as it's commonly known. And I'll tell you, I learned a lot more about rifle shooting as a PRS competitor than I ever did in the military. So, what is the PRS? Well, what'll happen is if you go to one of these matches, you'll walk up to a stage. There's between 12 and 20 stages in a match. You'll be given 90 seconds, 90 to 120 seconds to get off 10 shots, almost always going to be positional shooting. Well, what's positional shooting? You could have like a gate, like a cattle gate, and have to get off 3 or 4 shots at different heights and different levels. You could have a culvert pipe that you're gonna have to crawl in and shoot out of that. You could have a barrel where you use the barrel to build a position to get stable with your rifle. So they are unconventional positions, but they are positions that you will often encounter in the field, whether as a hunter, as a sniper, or just hanging out with the boys dinging steel. What's the gear that you're gonna need for PRS? Well, you'll need a good rifle, one that takes 10-round detachable box magazines, because you're gonna need to reload quickly. You'll need a good scope that tracks that you can dial for different target distances. A lot of targets, most targets are going to be between 400 and 1200 yards, and you'll have to be able to dial or hold over in the reticle, and it takes a good scope for that. The old duplex reticle with the cap turrets probably isn't going to cut it. Need a bipod on your rifle, and of course you'll need a rear bag to help stabilize the back of the gun, and then you'll also need a ballistic calculator. The good news there is the best ballistic calculator in the world is free, and it's called Hornady 4DOF. You can download it in the App Store on your phone, and what that does is once you get it set up for your rifle, you can input target distance, and it will tell you what you need to hold or dial on your scope. So it might sound a little complicated, but it's really very simple once you start using the system. All right, so you're getting ready to head to your first PRS match. You want to make sure you get all the kinks worked out of your gear/rifle system. So you'll need a backpack to throw all your stuff in. There's no such thing as an inclement weather plan. These matches are shot outdoors, so you want to have rain gear and sunscreen. Trust me, your wife will thank you. When it comes time to tune up the rifle, you want to make sure you've got a really good zero, and then you want to make sure that it's what's called true your ballistic calculator to your rifle. Now with the Hornady 4DOF system, what that looks like is you'll go into the bullet library. They've got just about every bullet that you could think of in there, not just Hornadys. You pick your bullet, and then you enter your muzzle velocity, and then what you'll do is pick a piece of steel at about 600 yards, put a couple rounds on it, and then adjust what's called axial form factor. And after that, your system is all trued up, and you'll be accurate you'll be accurate out past a mile, which will definitely be good enough for any PRS match. It sounds complicated. It's not. If you're younger than 40, you've done more complicated things today, just downloading apps and doing all the things that kids do these days. If you want to practice for a match, a lot of times, you go to your home range, it's not really set up for a PRS match where you're going to be doing weird things under time. So what your home range will probably have is a shooting bench and a chair. Shoot off the bench, don't sit down, just lay across the bench. Take your chair, shoot off the back of the chair, shoot off the seat of the chair. Learn how to use your body, your backpack, and any gear that you have with you to build a good shooting position. One of my favorite tips is to take a step ladder to the range and shoot off of each rung of the ladder. Put a 2-inch pasty at 100 yards, put a bunch of them, one for each rung, and shoot off that bottom rung and then move up. Because so often when people practice shooting, they either lay on their belly in the prone, they sit at a bench, or they stand up and rest the forend of the rifle on some type of obstacle. Well, PRS, you won't be able to use those 3 positions. You don't know what height you're going to be able to shoot at. You might have a barrel, you might have all kinds of just different props that are hard to replicate. But if you've got a step ladder and you've practiced building shooting positions at all those heights, you'll be good to go. So when it comes to rear bags and just bags in general, it seems like PRS shooters kind of make a big deal about it. You can spend a truckload of money on them, but you don't have to. If you're only gonna have one, something like this gets my vote. It's about yay big, it's about yay thick. Use it as a rear bag. You can drop it like in the crotch of a tree. You can shoot like this. Some folks will say, well, snipers heading overseas will never take anything like that. That's a gamer thing. Yeah, that's bull. If I was still heading overseas, I would take one of these. It weighs nothing. It doesn't take up much space. I can use it for all my rifle shooting tricks. Plus I got a comfortable seat and I got a nice pillow. You know, I mean, when you're living hard, everybody wants to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. So one bag, this is about what I'm going for. Second bag, if you're gonna buy two, get something that looks like this. A couple little teeth. You can drop it on a barricade, on the rung of that step ladder like we talked about. Lay your rifle across the top. Everything sits nice and stable, and you're off to the races. All right, so whether you're a military LE sniper, hunter, or high-stakes rifle shooter, if you're looking for an advanced education in rifle shooting, PRS is 100% the best place to do that. It's going to offer you scenarios and some stress that you won't find any other way. If you're a first-timer, let me tell you about my first match. You know, I showed up thinking, well, I'm a barrel-chested, steely-eyed freedom fighter. Stand back, men. Let me show you how this is done, and I got crushed. I showed up with a 223 and 5-round magazines, and it was a train wreck. That's the price of an education. So I took a lot of lumps at that first match. You know, I've been to a lot of high-speed shooting schools, both in the military and since. But you know, I don't care if you're an advanced level shooter and you're looking for that next level of education, or you're the newbie that's worried about embarrassing yourself. You'll learn more at a PRS match than you will anywhere else. Hope to see you out there.